Welcome ghosts back to Bullet Catcher Gaming. Apologies for a 2-week absence. Work has been insane, and with the heat here in England as well, evenings I'm absolutely shattered. So apologies, but we've got a full schedule coming as normal. Before I get into this video, I just want to say a big thank you to Sam for the awesome thumbnail. We have a Discord. If any of you would like to join that Discord, links in the description below. And if you like what you see, please feel free to like and subscribe. So this video, top 5 hardest bases to stealth. I think a lot of players out there do enjoy stealthing. I probably stealth about 80% of the time when I'm playing this game. And these are just my opinions, just mine, my own experiences playing with other players or on my own. So this has been asked for multiple times by different people. So anyone who's asked for it, we've finally got around to doing it. So let's start here at the beginning. I would like you, if possible, to give us your top 5 in the order from easiest to hardest, top 5 only. And if we get enough people fill that out, I'll do a follow-up video going through your top 5 bases too. Being interesting to compare. So obviously I'm going to put in a couple of ones that didn't make it into my top 5 that are quite challenging. One of those is Shark Base. That can be quite challenging sometimes. And there's probably a couple of others. No Man's Land can be challenging, but I feel like I've got that figured out enough. So they're challenging, and there's a few others too, but this is my top 5. Number 5 for me is the missile site ruins. Now, what I like about this is that you can start in the bivouac right next to it, so you haven't got to do too much walking, traveling. You can just get on with it. Now, the thing I find tricky about this one is it's obviously when you first start, everything on top, you can carefully pick off lots of people and eliminate about half the base fairly simply, I would say, pretty easily. It's when you then have to head downstairs. When you head downstairs, that's when it's tricky, because obviously those bodies can get found. If you're doing it on your own, I think it's much trickier than if you're doing it stealthily with a team. But it's a good one. Golem's got quite a few tough bases, I think, overall. But yeah, Missile Site Ruins, definitely my number 5. And I think I nearly swapped this with number 4, swapped them round. But overall, you know, I've done this plenty of times on my own and with a team. It's a fun one to do, and it's definitely that downstairs, which is all the underground stuff, which is definitely the more challenging. So number 4, and a few of you might say this one's not that hard, and I kind of get where you're coming from. It's Camp Kodiak. Now, the thing I find with Kodiak is that I could do this 2 or 3 times on the trot, and it will go to plan every time. And I kind of got to work out a way. You've obviously got to take those snipers out first before you want to move up. All of those towers pretty much have snipers in them. And if you don't take them out, you're pretty much not going to do it. You can't really clear from the base for the ground up, because they will just take you down immediately. But there is every now and again, I think I'm doing well and I've missed something, or I've misplaced somebody and I'll run into someone who I wasn't expecting. So this one actually can be quite a challenge, and that's why I've given it my number 4. My number 3 is Chemical Refinery on Golem. Now, the reason why I think this one is hard is because for me, there's only one really good way of doing this. If you attempt to do Chemical Refinery coming in from where the behemoth is, good luck, because it's almost impossible. It's not impossible, but it's almost impossible. You've really got to come up from the other side of the Chemical Refinery through the kind of like back gate and take those guys down there, and then try and work your way down, picking people off, taking out the snipers, moving down level to level, clearing the little buildings that are there, and then obviously going down and finishing off the behemoth. But it is a challenge, Chemical Refinery. Definitely, it's one of those ones that can go wrong more often than it goes right. But I still don't think it's the hardest of all of the actual bases on the game, though I do think, like I said, it's a challenge. That's why it's at number 3. My number 2 is Camp Tiger. Now, some people may have put this at their number 1. Camp Tiger I've got an interesting kind of relationship with. I've probably hit Camp Tiger more than any of these other bases. I must have done it hundreds of times. And what I like about Tiger is that even though it doesn't change too much, you pretty much know where everyone roughly is going to be. Every now and again it can surprise you. And you think, no, normally there would be this amount of guys in this room, and sometimes that just doesn't happen. I used to prefer starting in the tunnels every single time. Go into the tunnels, clear out the tunnels, move all the way down through the back of the base, come out at the back and clear it from the back forward. Obviously going through the mines, not the actual mines, but the mine fields that they've got laid out around the back of the base, clearing it that way. Now I actually prefer to go through the front entrance. If you go through the front, I find that as long as you can take out the mortar man quietly, you can actually clear that whole front out, then the side buildings, and move your way down and then do the tunnels last. I find that this is a better way to stealth it. So give that a try. My number 1 hardest is Arrow Testing Zone. Now, Arrow obviously has multiple ways of getting into it. You know, some people might like to parachute down. You can obviously go through the tunnels. You can go through the little hatch at the bottom. You can go up from the ladders from the bottom where the island is, where the land is. You can climb up that way. I always like to come in from the side where the little watchtower is, clear that out, move along the side, go down, and then you get to one of the most challenging parts of the level, and that's clearing the office areas. That's definitely the one, I think, where, because you just don't know where people are going to be, and you go running in there and shooting people quietly, and then all of a sudden a body gets found, and that's it, it's all over. But it is a challenge, and it's a challenge every single time. Now, yes, I've completed this stealth in this many, many times, but I still think across all of these, it's still the one that I feel I have to concentrate on the most to make sure that I get this done. Obviously, also when you move down to the lower level, that can be a challenge as well, because you've got the guys on the balconies looking down. And as you'll find out with Arrow, when it goes wrong, you'll suddenly realise just how many people are in Arrow when they all start coming for you. It's definitely a massively challenging base, I think. So what do you think of my top 5? What's your top 5? That's what I really want to know. What's your top 5? What's the hardest bases for you to stealth, successfully on a team, on your own, whatever? And it definitely makes a difference. Doing it on your own can be a lot harder, but at the same time, it can also give you a benefit because you haven't got other people there to mess it up for you. But let us know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Do appreciate it. Take care, and I'll see you again on the next one. Bye-bye.